Assembly of Zambia. Madam Speaker, warmly welcomed the distinguished guests to the National Assembly.
And thereafter, there were also two other announcements which were made. And the House also did consider a motion which was moved by one of the Vice President, that Standing Orders 1672 over the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, be suspended to enable the Minister of Finance and National Planning present money bills in support over the 2026 national budget by Tuesday, 4th November 2025.
Thereafter, three urgent matters without notice were considered yesterday. We did see a ministerial statement. The Vice President made a statement on the ongoing registration of voters exercise following a directive by Madam Speaker during the urgent matter without notice raised by Mr. Tuambo Mutinta, Member of Parliament for Itehi constituency, on Tuesday, the 28th of October 2025. The Vice President did brief the House on the voter registration statistics, voter education operations and the interventions being implemented to address public concerns. Notice was taken at 17:02 hours that a quorum was not formed, and Madam Speaker ordered the bells to be rung. House counted and quorum having been formed, business then resumed.
And the House did adjourn accordingly at 18:28 hours.
Okay, so just about now we'll have a quick look at what is expected on today's business. Today, Friday, 31st October 2025. We do have Her Honor the Vice President's question time, 45-minute segment that accords members of Parliament to ask Her Honor the Vice President questions without notice.
And of course, we do have the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation to render a ministerial statement on the participation at the 80th United Nations General Assembly held in New York, United States of America from 2nd to 29th September 2025.
We do expect Mr. Jatila, that's Fred Jatila, Member of Parliament, is also chairperson of the Expanded Planning and Budgeting Committee, to move the motion, urging the House to adopt the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee on the consideration of the 2026 Annual Borrowing Plan for the fifth session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 16th October 2025.
And of course, we do have two ordinary questions. Understanding Order 8, we have Engineer Mabenga, Morovis Member of Parliament. He has a question to the Minister of Green Economy and Environment. He wants to find out in three parts when the Forestry Department in Morovis District will be provided with a motor vehicle to ease their operational challenges, whether the government has any plans to recruit more forest officers, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, what could be the reason?
Question 44 is expected to come from Isoka lawmaker Ms. Nakaponda. It is expected to ask the Minister of Education how many community schools there were in Isoka district as of August 2025. Of the schools, how many were earmarked for upgrading to government schools, when the schools will be upgraded, and if there are no schools, and if no school will be upgraded, why? So those are the two questions for oral answer. Understanding Order number 80 that will be considered on the floor of the House.
Yes, indeed. Remember, the order paper can be accessed on the National Assembly of Zambia website, www.parliament.gov.za.
Just now, we take you to the floor of the House as we await for the Speaker's procession that will be making its way in a short while from now. We urge you to stay tuned right here as we continue to bring Parliament closer to you. Good morning.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Don't worry. Mine has to be on.
And the sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity.
Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the officers of leaders and parliament for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor your servant. Please to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you are committed to our church. Amen. Maybe just before we start, all those honorable members who have obtained credentials, please ensure that you log in at the correct time also. Honorable members, I have an announcement to make. Honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from my father's house in Lusaka district. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. You are most welcome. You may take your seats. Urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Shiwangando.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and good morning to you. Madam Speaker, the matter I'm raising, the urgent matter without notice I'm raising, is directed to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Proceed, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Although he's not here, but I'm sure he's adequately represented.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In this case, I honor the Vice President as leader of government business who pick it up for the Minister. Madam Speaker, the Republic of Tanzania was conducting elections a couple of days ago, and as the elections were conducted, we do have some of our colleagues from this august house on electoral observer missions representing the Great Rex region, although I can see the chairperson, the delegation leader is here, I don't know who is there, and Pan-African Parliament, and of course your two deputies in that country. Apart from that, Madam Speaker, known that your Zambian nationals, thousands of Zambian nationals, cross the borders on a daily basis to and from Tanzania for trading purposes. In addition, Madam Speaker, the only pipeline you have, Tazama pipeline, which was pumping crude oil from the port of Dar es Salaam to Ndeni, is now, which was converted to start pumping diesel, is the only reliable source of petroleum products. And tankers that carry. You are not the speaker. This is a very serious matter.
Oh, the honorable members. Honorable member for Shiwangandu is supposed to be within 2 minutes. You are now in negative 26 seconds. The point quickly.
Madam Speaker, the reason for this point of order is that post-electoral elections protests which have erupted in Tanzania have disturbed the public order and threatened security to the extent that public infrastructure has been damaged, the airports overrun, and this, Madam Speaker, because of the reasons I've given, would have a negative impact on this country directly. Because the 4 days of curfew might see our filling stations running dry. And I think the Honorable Minister of Energy is very concerned about that. Madam Speaker, we would like to have an update on this matter so that our Zambians who go to Tanzania, the oil MCs, can plan in order to avoid a crisis. Madam Speaker, is the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is not here, but of course the Vice President is here, in order to remain quiet without updating the nation on this very serious development. I seek your serious guidance on this matter.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Shiwangandu, for the issue that you have raised. First of all, starting with our honorable members that have traveled to Tanzania to observe the elections. Of course, we wish them to come back to the House in safety, but it's an administrative matter which the Office of the Clerk is able to handle and is being attended to. As regards the comment, what has happened in Tanzania, of course, like our president says, conflict anywhere is conflict everywhere. So whatever happens in Tanzania is bound to affect us. But in accordance with our rules, we cannot debate a foreign country, especially that this has just happened. We have not even seen the effect. We have not yet assessed the effect, or the executive has not yet assessed. I believe it's only prudent that they are given enough time to find out the situation on the ground, and just to caution our Zambian nationals that they should not take trips to the particular country. But otherwise, I think, my guidance is that it will not be proper at this stage to discuss another foreign country and what happened there, because we don't know the facts on the ground. What we are seeing is just the press statements, and no official position has been given to us by the government of Tanzania. So what I would urge the honorable members is just to be cautious, to warn your members of your constituents that they should tread with caution. I think the responsibility is upon all of us to warn the people that we represent, that especially the ones from Muchinga province, from Northern province, the ones that are in the bordering areas, just to tread with caution. As we wait the situation to unfold, and then at the appropriate time, I believe the executive will come back to the House, brief the House on what is happening. But we should not be seen to be in the forefront, igniting or encouraging or celebrating the misfortune of another country, especially that we are sister countries. So that will be my guidance on the matter. So that issue is not admitted. Thank you very much. The Honorable Member Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to raise an urgent matter without notice. directed at the Minister of Local Government. Madam Speaker, the issue of Constituency Development Fund is an issue of national concern. And in 2024, councils did not receive Constituency Development Fund in full. We received funds with a shortage of 12 million kwacha. And from the many circulars, councils were advised to continue using the 2025 CDF for 2024 projects. And as a result, the 2025 CDF has not been released, and the councils are being told that the government cannot release the fund because it was not budgeted for. This, Madam Speaker, has affected the projects in various councils across the country because the 2025 projects. I mean, this is not a bill where you can just wake up and start shouting like you are a drunk pedestrian.
The Honorable Member from Pika, address the presiding officer. Please do not engage with the other honorable members or use an parliamentary. What you said that this is not so. I think that is unbecoming of a member of parliament to utter those words to this dignified house. So please moderate your language. You may proceed.
I withdraw, Madam Speaker, and apologize to you. Madam Speaker, this is the reality, and I would want the Minister of Local Government to issue a comprehensive statement as to what should the affected councils do. Because councils were asked to use the available funds in the hope that the government will reimburse the used fund, which they have not done, and now they are being told that the government cannot release the said fund. Madam Speaker, I seek your indulgence.
Thank you very much. I suggest that the Honorable Member from Pika puts in a question to the Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. Then he can be able to address that issue. I believe this matter, we discussed it previously. And at one point the Minister came with a statement. So if it's affecting everyone, but I think when you put in that question, then the honorable members will be able to also ask supplementary questions. So the matter is not admitted. The honorable member for Lundazi, welcome back. You have been missing in action.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I really missed you, especially. The matter I wish to raise is directed to the Minister of Local Government and Housing. Thank you so much.
You may proceed, Honorable Member.
Don't say Mlam. Let's go to Lundazi. Madam Speaker, the matter that I wish to raise is concerning the bus stop which was demolished in Lundazi in order to pave way for the new bus stop. Madam Speaker, the issue at hand is that there are no works that are taking place satisfactory to the people of Lundazi at the bus stop right now. The buses are just parking anywhere in Lundazi, and the sanitary situation has become a serious challenge. Madam Speaker, the worry that we have as the people of Lundazi is that rains are just around the corner, and this contractor who is doing the works at the Lundazi bus stop is not doing anything that we can say the bus stop can be ready within 2 weeks or within 3 weeks. Madam Speaker, is the Honorable Minister of Local Government in order to sit here in the House instead of being in Lundazi to go address the issue of the bus stop, which is a serious matter, and the people of Chasefu are affected, the people of Lumezi, and the people who are accessing the the use of that is an international bus stop. Remember, even Malawi is also coming there. So it's a very serious matter, and the people of Lundazi, Madam Speaker, have said that I should relay this message to this minister that he can go to Lundazi and finish our bus stop, or give us the old one which we had, so these people can be able to get their buses on very well. Madam Speaker, these three ministers, I don't know why when you're talking they keep on disturbing. It becomes a problem, Madam Speaker.
Order, Honorable.
I submit.
Okay. Order. Honorable ministers, you've been pointed at. Please restrain yourselves. So when the Honorable Member for Lundazi was raising her urgent matter without notice, I saw the Honorable Minister of Local Government nodding and agreeing to the invitation to come to Lundazi. So I'm sure it's a matter that you can discuss if you engage. Please do engage and ensure that not now. Okay. Engage quietly. Consequently, your urgent matter without notice is not admitted, since you are now engaging. So let's make progress. You will soon hear the Bwana saying, you are not coming. Her Honor, the Vice President's question time. Honorable Member for Nakonde.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity. Madam Speaker, under our Constitution, the people who are entitled for security
The Honorable Member for Nakonde first. Honorable Member for Lundazi. Now when you... that's why I was saying it's better to consult later. Okay. You are forgiven. And I bless you that you have long life. Getting a leaf from the Honorable Member for Kalavo Central, my brother. May the Honorable Member for Nakonde continue.
Madam Speaker, I was stating that under our Constitution, the people or the officers that are entitled to have details are that of the Vice President, the Minister of Home Affairs, and the Minister of Defense. We have seen an abuse of office under this government, where anyone who praises them provide with them the security details, the police, and so forth. We want to find out from Her Honor the role that you are using to provide security details to individuals such as Honorable Chabinga. Also, you provided security details to Honorable Mao Sampa when he was supporting you. Immediately when he withdrew,
Honorable Member, let me just give guidance. Order. Let me give guidance. Our standing orders do not allow us to debate ourselves. So please do not bring in the names of the honorable members on the floor of the House, because that is against our own established procedures and practice. So you can continue asking your question, but do not refer to any honorable member.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for that guidance. I want to find out from Her Honor, what law are you using to provide security details to individuals that are not entitled for? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Nakonde for that question. And the question is, according to him, there is abuse of office. By who? He didn't tell me. By government. The abuse of office. Security details to individuals. I think that we are all entitled to security. We are all entitled to security. But this security will not just be given a blanket, madam. I think when a person feels insecure, there is need for that person to approach the security wing and request for protection for a time that can be proved that there is something that needs protection. I think that's the way. I can't tell you the law right now. I really can't refer to any law. But just to know that all of us, if you feel your neighbors can harm you for some reason and you can prove it, I think that you have a right, Honorable Member for Nakonde, to request that you need special protection for a period you feel insecure. Thank you, Madam.
You know the rules. You know the rules. So don't go that route. The Honorable Member for Skongo.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the past 4 years, this country has seen incredible things happen. We have seen exceptional leadership from President Hakainde Hichilema. We have seen economic development move from minus 2.8 to now projected at 6%. We have seen peace and tranquility like we have never this country experienced. And democracy has thrived to its highest level. And flourished. Now, Madam Speaker, my question to Her Honor the Vice President is 2026 is just around the corner. We are going to have elections. What promise do you give to the people of Zambia in as far as free and fair election?
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Skongo. Thank you for taking note of the things that have happened in the last 4 years. You have spoken of leadership, very good, and I agree with you. You have also spoken of economic growth, that we have seen our economy thrive from -2 growth to +6. Extremely unprecedented, knowing the kind of environment that we had where the economy was really going into doldrums. But you were saying, what is the promise to the Zambian people? Madam, I think even the President, when he was here to open this session, he spoke of assuring people that we are going to have free and fair elections. And that's the way to go. All of us, the promise on behalf of your government, this government, is that we should all ensure we adhere to the tenets of the law, we adhere to our democratic practices, because this is how you will have it free and fair. Nobody should break the law. The assurance is that everybody should and will have their space, and elections that are credible, the election that will be credible, the election that will give comfort to everybody, and everybody should be able to accept the results. We have come a long way. We can't pull back today. We are a democratic country we will follow through and ensure the winner wins. The loser accepts. No, you. I'm sorry, madam. I think the minister is leading me here. All of us will participate lawfully, legally, so that the results will be acceptable, because they will be credible. This is the Zambia that we all want, and the Zambia that we all know. Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much. Looking at how we have indicated, I'll have to use my discretion to balance once in a while, but we'll go to the Honorable Member for Bwacha.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity, for the chance to ask our Honor the Vice President a question. And Madam Vice President, good morning. Madam Speaker, I take back our Honor the Vice President to the ministerial statement that she delivered yesterday on the mass voter registration. I indicated, but I didn't have time. Time was not adequate, even after you gave 10 more extra minutes. Madam Vice President, first, the issuance of NRCs in Kabwe. 9 centers were opened, but only out of the 9 centers, only 2 were in Bwacha parliamentary constituency. That is in Ngwashi Primary School and Makuluru. And then the rest, 7 of them, were in the other constituency, that is Kabwe, a central constituency. And the officers have since left the 2 centers, that is Makuluru and the Ngwashi Primary School. So I think you can see, Your Honor the Vice President, that the centers were not fairly distributed in Kabwe. So I don't know how your office, how the government will assist the people of Bwacha parliamentary constituency, especially the young people, those who are 16 years, 17, and 18 years above, to be given an opportunity to acquire NRCs. Then, Madam Speaker, on the voter registration, I don't know, Madam Speaker, if our Honor the Vice President will provide Parliament with progress report or reports on the registration figures per constituency. Those figures that we had, I think it is important, especially for the members of Parliament having constituencies, at least just to have an idea as we go on, if maybe through your office, Madam Speaker, I honor the Vice President to be very, very gracious to give an opportunity, at least progress report constituency by constituency in terms of figures, so at least we can have an idea. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Under normal circumstances, we avoid being repetitive, but since the Honorable Member for Bwacha said he did indicate, but he didn't have an opportunity to ask, I'm using my discretion to allow that. How are the Vice President?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, Honorable Bwacha. Thank you for allowing that on your discretion. Well, it sounds really unfair that there were 2 registration centers for NRCs in Bwacha, while 7 were in Kabwe. But this is something you could have addressed, sir. You could have gone to the offices and said, this, we have a large population which is not there. But a place like Bwacha, which I know it includes the part of the rural, isn't it? And it becomes difficult. Remember, this is one point probably yesterday, Madam, I didn't bring out, that NRC registration is a continuous process. It's a continuous process. It is not stopped at any one time, except this comes in to facilitate for those that may not have grown to the age where they need to register as voters. That is the purpose of going around for the NRCs. But generally, anybody can get an NRC any day, any time, as long as they reach the right age, which is, I think, 16. I thought when you started, you were talking of 2 voter registration, but this is for NRCs. I think, let us continue. Remember what I said yesterday, that where the gaps were left, this is time to ensure you work with the office of the registration to, yes, the Office of Registration and Citizenship, so that they can go to those areas. I can confirm myself that even after yesterday, the outcry, madam, I followed it up in certain areas, and where I asked, truly, because those complained earlier, they confirmed that they are there now giving NRCs. So please use this opportunity to convince those. And if they are listening, it is important that we do mass registration also, which we carry out during this time, this period before elections. On the issue of whether I can provide a constituents by constituents register, except I don't know when. Remember, this process must come to an end at one time. Whether this is requested, I think you can only request it through the Speaker, through this House, because that may not be within mandate for me to start bringing these reports to you, to this House. But if it is requested at one time, not every week, I can't. Even the ECZ may not have the capacity to give us the right figures. But when the figures come out, they become public knowledge, and all of us have a right to look at the registers as they will come. So let us be on the lookout. After all, it's part of the planning for your elections if you are going to stand. Those that are going to stand must be paying special attention to the registration so that you are sure of how many members are going to vote in your constituents, and you see how you ensure you get the right vote. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given. Your Honor, the Vice President, Zambians appreciate the works being done on the Lusaka-Ndora road. However, there is a lot of complaints that are coming out from so many motorists who are entering Lusaka and moving out of Lusaka, especially from an area called the 10 miles. People are spending chaotic hours, 2 hours and beyond. We want to, as we move towards the rain season, whether this stretch will be able to be worked on, because if at all we go into rain seasons without this road being worked on this stretch, then it will be disaster. And also, I would like to find out at what percentage are we at in works on the Ndola carriageway. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Kwacha. Madam Speaker, under your standing orders, I would probably say it is a little too specific for me to have answers, because the questions for this time are more policy and issues. However, I hear you and I've heard the challenge on this road, but I may not give answers as you would require them. Can you allow me to speak to infrastructure so that they can come and tell us exactly what is happening on this part of the road, the percentage the project has gone. I cannot give you from my head. I understand the concern. I think it's a concern of everybody. So we will provide answers through the Minister of Infrastructure. Madam, I thank you.
Thank you very much for that. The Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honourable Vice President. Madam Speaker, I wanted to find out from government in terms of their plan in relation to health personnel, in particular medical doctors. Madam Speaker, I was looking at a report starting from 2023. The young medical doctors trained at University of Zambia or Copperbelt University that have failed to get government jobs, and their skill is actually going into waste. And remember, Madam Speaker, there are two things happening here. Government gave them loans, student loans, and those loans have to be repaid. But most importantly, health is one of the greatest investments in any country. Your Honor, the Vice President, does government have, the New Dawn government, forget about the 2,000 health workers and all those announcements, particularly when you look at your medical doctors that you're producing in your universities? Does government have any plan to take them on? Because they cannot proceed in their careers because they have to get internships, and those internships, you get them when you are employed by government. In short, what I'm saying is, even if they are qualified, they cannot go and work for a private hospital. So what would be some of your immediate plans as government so that you take this resource which you have invested in into good use and put it into good use? Thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Madam. The concern on health personnel and particularly the doctors, those at a high cost, some of them on loans that they got, and loans I'm sure gotten from government also. And do we have plans to take them on? Because they need to be taken on 2 levels, as interns and also fully employed as doctors. Yes, I don't think this is an issue for us to really discuss. Government has the intention and the plan is to continuously employ them. Even as we talk, there are some. Health is not here. Former health is there. There are those that are on internship. The issue is the backlog that we have. And the Honorable Speaker, the issue of looking after these people cannot be looked at only with one part of the health sector. In a health institution, you need everybody. You need nurses, you need medical doctors, you need, if medical doctors include surgeons, you have to balance as to who should be there. We continue to employ, we will continue, Madam, to employ, to give them internship. And then, this is why we have to work, this is a reflection of how unbalanced we have moved in development. We are giving education, we have no jobs. But it's better to train people because they are also wanted even, and the internship issue. It has a very serious plan to continuously employ this cadre of health workers, just like the other cadre of health workers. Systematically, year by year, we pick a few and we continue to pick. After internship, they are free to join the private sector because then they qualify. But the backlog is big. and the training is going on. Many institutions are training this cadre of workers. That is what I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I give it to an independent, the Honorable indicated.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question, Madam Vice President, Nyimba is one of the few districts in Eastern Province which had a bump harvest. Unfortunate, some wards, the other part of ward, you know, the wards in Nyimba, some of them are 70-kilometer stretch. So we found that half of the ward there was a bump harvest, the other part was drought. So the people of Nyimba are asking your office, Madam Vice President, that the maize which hasn't been transported to Lusaka yet, can you leave that maize so that we can have a program like the program we had early this year, where FRA could leave maize into selected areas for the local people to purchase. So what they're asking, especially, particularly the people of Chinambi Ward, they're asking, half of Chinambi Ward there was a drought, and the other half of Chinambi Ward there was a bump harvest, and there is maize there. People are looking at that maize, they can't buy it because there is no authority. So they are simply asking, is it possible that that program we had this year can be extended so that people can start purchasing, those who are affected can start purchasing the same maize within the ward? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Nyimba, and thank you for being as sincere as you can be, because we realize that the bumper harvest may not have covered every place. That is known. And also to realize, we have all to realize that in the same place in the country, we had good rains somewhere, we had floods somewhere, we had a drought somewhere. So we realize that as government, and it is the request you have made is very important. I can say this from two offices. That is, under the office of the Vice President DMMU, we do what we call pre-positioning. So the food must remain in areas that have already been identified, particularly the areas that are hard to reach, because it will be too expensive to start taking food back to those places. So government has such a plan so that when that food is needed, it is already in that area. And where there is food nearby, I think as I'm talking, if there is no other plan, FRA is listening. You remember we had to struggle 2024 through to this time, started taking maize back to the selling points. I think this is being looked at seriously so that we can store the maize in the places where it will be needed. That is why, if you see even today in your constituencies, even where there isn't very good storage, I believe, this is what I know, that we have sent tarpaulins to see that the food is secured, the maize is secured everywhere under FRA. And we are going to speak to FRA on situations like that. Please, colleagues, don't wait until the maize has been taken away, and yet you know that there is a non-difficult area in your place, so that we don't have to spend too much. It's a good question, and it is being considered under DMMU, and also even FRA should have that plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Mukushi South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I can hear the Honorable Member is aware that they are going next year, so he's already speaking for himself. Madam Speaker, you are going. You think it's a joke? They have decided, the Zambian people have decided. They are voting you out. You think we are joking? Madam Speaker.
Order, order. Order, Honorable Members. Order. Order. stop the clock. Honorable members, this is Her Honor the Vice President's question time. Politics outside. May the Honorable member from Kushi continue and ask a question.
Madam Speaker, Your Honor the Vice President, when you took over power from PF, we left you with 3,600 megawatts of power generation. Plus, the total capacity of power consumption in Zambia is about 2,400 megawatts.
Yes.
Plus, you have subjected the Zambian people with road shedding. You have subjected the people of Zambia by load shedding, making the saloons stop working, the barber shops, the welding machines, sending the Zambian people into abject poverty. What has gone wrong with your way of road shedding, thereby causing so much pain on the Zambian people and preferring preferring export of power? I seek your serious indulgence, Madam Speaker.
The honorable members, let's allow each other to ask questions without any interruptions. And also the honorable members who are given an opportunity to ask a question, please can we ensure that we behave in a dignified manner, befitting of an honorable member of the House. Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I'd like to thank the honorable member. I think it is operational capacity and installed capacity. I think that is where the issue is. Installed capacity may have been high, but what is the production? That's why I called the minister. Because when you say that, you are implying that since we came, we have eaten that power. I am using vernacular, so that we... Yeah, you should... Okay. Yeah, you understand. You are implying that there is something we have done to the power. No, that is not true. Madam Speaker, there is no export of power. You know, he is here. He will let him. No, please.
Order,
no,
honorable
please.
Members. Order.
I know I could have taken a little longer with him, but from what I know, if I'm going to mislead you in this house, madam, we are able to bring a correction. But from what I know, today, you are alleging that we are exporting power. To where? How much power? You said the PF left. So allow me to also go to PF. You, Minister, listen to me. I don't have to make mistakes.
Order, Honorable Member Fonkana. Please, can you restrain yourself? I don't know how many times you'd want me to mention your name from here. Don't debate while seated. Please. May Her Honor the Vice President continue.
Yeah. I was trying to say, madam, and I hope I'm saying it, that to say there is so much power, we have exported. That is not true. That is extremely misleading. Because let us say the truth, verify and go through. What we know, and I think I know as Vice President, is that yes, under PF there was contracts and obligations. I can only remember one standing here, maybe you can give me others. We were exporting 150 megawatts to Namibia under PF, the signature. Let me inform this august house, and through this august house, the nation,
that the power that was being exported has been clawed back. It has been brought back. There is no export. Let us not mislead people. Maybe let me explain this. If I mislead, please stop me here. There is something that Zambians want to continuously think. There are those power purchasers, private power, independent power purchasers, traders in fact, who are selling power outside the Zambia. Let me try to make it clear, madam. These are not taking power from Zambia to take it to where they export. They import power.
Honorable members,
do we want to hear?
Order. Apologies. Honorable member from Pika, your is being imported to ZESCO or imported on behalf of ZESCO. Please, including the honorable member from Mukushi, by Friday next week, can you produce that evidence, lay it on behalf of on the floor of the table, so that we can inquire in this issue, because it has been coming on and on. Please bring the evidence. The honorable member from Mukushi, the honorable member from Mpika, you are jointly ordered. You are jointly ordered to, on Friday next week, to bring evidence and lay it on the floor of the House, failure to which, for misleading the House, there can be some consequences. Because we have to be serious in this House. Bring that evidence, please. In the meantime, don't talk about something which is not verifiable. May Her Honor the Vice President continue.
Yeah, I find this very important, madam, and I will try, because you remember my last debate in this House. I touched this issue. So I have tried to follow it. I started by saying there is no export. We have clawed back because of the deficit, because of the growing economy, because of the need for more power in this country, because the economy is growing. So we have gone back to those contracts and stopped, negotiated. Then you are saying we are exporting. I was talking of independent power traders. Because some people have been coming here shouting names of companies. Thank God for the protection we have under your house. Don't say things to bring the name of a company in disrepute when that is not true. What is true will always stand. The independent power purchasers are the ones who buy power from South Africa. They buy power from Mozambique. And yes, Honorable, they use our infrastructure. And they pay what is called wheeling charge. Listen, Madam Speaker, I will still speak no matter how much noise they make, because I want to explain.
Those ones who can't train themselves, they will go and listen outside so that follow up this issue. Because we want to get the facts, we want to get to the truth of this matter. And that's the more reason that I've directed that the honorable member from Pika and the honorable member from Kushis, the office of the clerk is going to write to you to tender that evidence before this House so that we can inquire in that matter. So please do take note. Anybody who is going to, honorable member from Kush South, you may take the leave of the House. May Her Honor the Vice President continue.
No, let us just listen. This is a thing that all of us must be interested in. Because if government, your government, can choose to punish the Zambians for the sake of other people, it's a concern. But that's why I'm explaining that don't carry a narrative that is not true. The independent power purchasers, madam, buy power from outside the country. Yes, they use our, maybe I shouldn't use yes, because some people just yes means I've agreed. They use our infrastructure to bring the power through to particularly DRC, where it is needed. And in using our infrastructure today, ZESCO, which is the owner of the infrastructure, yes, on behalf of the Zambian people, receives what is called a willing charge. So basically, they are importing power, passing through, and they pay for making the power pass through. An income to ZESCO. It's not like they are blocking ZESCO from using this. There isn't enough power in the country. So they bring and the power goes. They pay what is called willing charge. And therefore ZESCO makes some income, which makes them also do a little more. This is what is happening, madam. They also, the same independent power purchasers, anybody who is sincere with this will listen. These same independent power traders, they bring power, and sometimes they also even help ZESCO, give them power. When they can't distribute, they have nothing to give. They also, madam, help the industry because they also sell to the mines what they have imported with their money. So what is this export? I know we are politicians, madam, but I believe in politics of sincerity. Look at our weaknesses if we have any. Don't mislead the Zambian people. The issue of power must be an embarrassment to all of us. I have said that before. Because we sat like our economy will not grow. We sat like our population will not grow. I belonged to another government. We should also take a little piece of blame. PF should take a bit of blame. UNEP should take a bit of blame. Not this government. Because we have seen the need for more power. Just ensure that you listen. We were so hydro-dependent that we have been not only caught up, Minister, not only caught up because of the drought, which is one of the reasons, not only because of drought, but because the economy is also growing. We need, the population is grown. And this government is not sitting idle. Yes, we probably could have done better, especially if the base was better, the base that we found from previous governments. But this government is trying to do what the previous governments failed to do. By going full throttle on looking at alternative power generation, which you are calling energy mix. We are now moving where we can produce. We have the thermal power. We are looking at the production from coal, madam. Mamba collieries. Increasing the generation. We are also, thank you, we are also doing solar. Solar. All over the place. I can't name all of them. Minister, bring all the names. Just bring and leave on the table so that people see the projects we are doing. I am confident, madam, that, we have been using things for political purposes. They don't work. We used the kabunga, doing. We went to dollar in doing. Now we want energy. Use this. Come, we will be surprised how much energy will be done. I am just helping you to start thinking of what will be our campaign issue. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mongu Central.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving a chance to the people of Mongu Central. Madam Vice President, I also believe in the politics of honesty, and we know that ignorance can be very expensive and very dangerous. We are aware that this government has increased generation capacity for power to more than 3,500 megawatts, which they left at 2,000. But we can't generate power because we have no water. This country experienced a drought that left the energy sector very paralyzed, so that we cannot recover. Madam Vice President, can you confirm that the ZESCO, which was importing power under the PF government, was left with a huge debt that is now making ZESCO lose its own credibility to import, to buy power from outside, from the same Mozambique and other sources? Did the PF government leave us 2,000, 3,000 megawatts, or did they leave us debt, which is making power from outside? Madam Vice President, can you confirm that? Thank you.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you so much. Yes, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Member for Mongu Central. You are right that ZESCO was so indebted, is still indebted, I must admit, although that is being reduced. But the indebtedness has made them unable to purchase power. This is reality on the ground. They can't go to Mozambique and buy power because they don't have. They will have to use cash, which they may not have. They may not. This is how bad we were. So let us not continue to look at these negatives. Let us move forward. Don't apportion blame where there is no need for blame. Honorable Member of Parliament for Mongu Central, I confirm.
There are no indications from the members of Parliament. Honorable Member for Isoka, what has happened today? You are quiet. So, Honorable Member for Nkana.
Madam Vice President, you are familiar with the teaching that a thief comes to steal, destroy, and kill. The government has been keen on suggesting that you are fighting corruption. The PPP project of the Lusaka Dual Carriageway taking was that when the contractor completes the project, then you hand over the toll gates for them to recover the investment. Your ministry, your government signed to now give that consortium the toll gates before they complete the project, on the pretext that they'll use whatever they'll be collecting from toll gates to repair the existing old road. Madam Speaker, when you go to that road from Lusaka into Ndola, the contractor is not repairing the old road. They are actually doing the actual works on the old existing road, meaning they are getting our resources from the toll gates to undertake the actual works on the existing road. Madam Vice President, do you think it's justifiable that you give the contractor toll gates to raise money to do the actual works when this contractor actually got 650 million, which was supposed to be pumped in that road? Is this justifiable, I think?
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member from Nkana, John 10, verse 10. That is what you cited. A thief comes but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But you know how it ends. You know what the man who said those words said. But have come that you may have life and have it to the full. The past came to kill, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But now, preach them. Honorable. Now we are in a time to have life and have it to the full. I cannot, this thing, I cannot verify the figures, some of the figures, I would mislead myself. But the principle is, we have given under PPP, which has other requisites there, or not requisites, has other indicators as to the completion of the contract. These contracts under PPP have time, they are time bound. They are not just time bound, I believe that they also have the total recovery. So all those must be looked at. That's why you can have a PP signed for 10 years. If people are doing it right, it's in infrastructure also. You can actually recover in 5 years. And then that terminates it. But they are also, in this PPP, they are meant to maintain. There is that maintenance. So for us, if the traffic can be better, madam, and there is more money coming through the other means because of the infrastructure. Yeah, you want to be president, madam. Let us do things right. We see the benefit, which is more than what we can lose. We are not giving inflated contracts, as it were. This same road was highly, the contract before was highly inflated. That is known by all of us. So what is the problem? Time and the work and the funds. Recovery. So you say, for us to recover this and make profit, we need 25 years, for example. But if that, I thought I understood you. Because if I didn't, you can ask again. But what I understood is that at completion, you said they signed. At completion, that's when they will start running the toll gates. And then you said another law was made through the statutory instrument. So I hope you understand that I understood. Yeah, so you should have followed my answer knowing that I understood. But because you thought I didn't understand, you thought I was speaking in the air. A statutory instrument was issued, which then allowed them to start getting the toll. Your concern is they are using our money to make the road. No. It is part of their money. Minister, I think under this, you even through the toll gates fees, you also get a little as government. There is revenue sharing in there. What is it? So for us, honestly, on this one, you may have to come and educate me a little bit, madam. I invite the honorable to come and educate me through so that we get the full concern. But the concern, as I got it, this is the way it is going. They are going to maintain, continue to maintain, and we will share we will share the benefit. And remember, there are Zambian companies, Zambian entities, not companies, that have invested in this same one. They are also, because we cry, no, it's Zambian money. They are making money. Investment in NAPSA, workers' compensation, they are also getting from this. Thank you.
That concludes the segment, Honor the Vice President's question time. We make progress. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, recently there were two significant international conferences that took place. One, the United Nations General Assembly, the 80th session, and the second, the COMESA Summit. Madam Speaker, this ministerial statement relates to the two. Madam Speaker, I wish to thank you for according me this opportunity to render a ministerial statement on Zambia's participation in the high-level segment of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA 80, held at the United Nations headquarters in New York from 22nd to 29th September 2025, and also, Madam Speaker, in relation to the COMESA 24th Summit held on the 9th of October 2025 in Nairobi in the Republic of Kenya. To start on the United Nations General Assembly, Madam Speaker, the United Nations General Assembly remains a critical platform for multilateral diplomacy. It is the only global forum where all 193 member states have an equal representation, providing an opportunity to advance dialogue on international peace and security, development, climate change, and human rights, among other topics. This year's UNGA was particularly significant as it marked the 80th anniversary of the United Nations under the theme, Better Together, 80 years and more of peace, development, and human rights. This milestone provided the global community a moment of reflection on the UN's fundamental values while charting a way forward in the face of growing geopolitical tensions, economic uncertainty, and climate changes. The 80th session was attended by 189 member states with representation, Madam Speaker, from 83 heads of state, 41 heads of government, and 45 ministers of foreign affairs. These numbers speak to the centrality of the UN as a convening body for collective global action. Madam Speaker, the Zambian delegation to this landmark session was led by myself, as delegated by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, and in my capacity as Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. The delegation included the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Elijah Muchima, as well as senior government officials. The participation was grounded in Zambia's foreign policy objectives and national developmental agenda. Madam Speaker, my participation and representation of the government of the Republic of Zambia at this year's UNGA was undertaken in accordance with the statutory functions as outlined under Government Gazette Notice number 1123 of 2021, which mandates the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation to 1. Conduct and coordinate the Republic of Zambia's foreign relations, 2. Manage international cooperation and multilateral engagements, and 3. Oversee the negotiation, conclusion, and ratification of international treaties, conventions, and memoranda of understanding. It is within this legal and institutional mandate that the responsibilities outlined above were executed at this important multilateral forum. Madam Speaker, Zambia's priorities at UNGA 80 included the following: advocating for reform of the global governance architecture, including the United Nations Security Council, where we continue to champion the Common Africa position as espoused in the Eswatini Consensus and the CETA Declaration. 2, advancing the implementation of the financing for development outcomes, including the Borrowers Forum as co-facilitator of the pact. 3, promoting investments in health, education, and social protection, especially in light of declining official development assistance. 4, deepening bilateral and multilateral cooperation with development partners. 5, advancing Zambia's digital transformation agenda and partnerships in science, technology, and innovation. And 6, strengthening Zambia's profile as an investment destination through economic diplomacy. Madam Speaker, Zambia was actively engaged in several high-level meetings, including the high-level meeting on gender equality, commemorating the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration, where Zambia reaffirmed its commitment to empowering women and girls. The 4th high-level meeting on non-communicable diseases and mental health, the Climate Ambition Summit, the Summit for African Union Committee of 10, the C10, which reaffirms Zambia's unwavering support for the Common Africa position aforementioned, and the Biennial Summit for Sustainable, Inclusive, and Resilient Global Economy, where Zambia called for fairer and faster debt relief, improving financing mechanisms for developing countries. Madam Speaker, we also undertook a range of bilateral engagements to deepen Zambia's international partnerships. We had bilateral meetings with Luxembourg, Lithuania, Liechtenstein, Morocco, and multilateral agencies such as the UNDP, the UNHCR, and the World Bank. Zambia co-hosted an important side event with Egypt to discuss the modalities of implementing the newly proposed Borrowers Forum, an initiative of the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development. Zambia also co-hosted a side event on accelerating the FFD4 implementation with Mexico, Spain, Norway, UK, and the UN Foundation. Madam Speaker, consistent with our policy of economic diplomacy, the delegation engaged with the Zambian diaspora in the United States to share developments that are taking place here and explore the diaspora's role in Zambia's economic transformation. In addition, a private sector roundtable was convened with 12 global investment houses, including MetLife, Baylis, Emergency Markets, and Jefferies, to promote Zambia's investment opportunities. These engagements were fruitful, with strong interest expressed in sectors such as energy, mining, agriculture, logistics, and tourism. Madam Speaker, Zambia was honored to chair the ministerial meeting of least developed countries. We used this platform to advocate for innovative financing solutions, enhanced domestic resource mobilization, and deeper regional integration, Madam Speaker, to close development financing gaps for countries like Zambia. The key outcomes and deliverables, Madam Speaker. Zambia's participation at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA 80, as I referred to earlier, yielded a number of tangible diplomatic and developmental outcomes that reinforce our country's international standing and support the aspirations of the 8th National Development Plan. To begin with, Zambia strengthened its diplomatic relations through the signing of several key agreements. Notably, our country entered into new frameworks of cooperation with Luxembourg and Lithuania on matters of mutual interest, while also signing a joint communique establishing formal diplomatic relations with Liechtenstein. These milestones mark Zambia's growing engagement with strategic partners in Europe, opening new avenues for collaboration in investment, trade, and cultural exchange. In the area of development cooperation, Zambia secured renewed commitments to key national priorities in health, education, tourism, and private sector development. Of particular note was the agreement to expedite the implementation of existing Memoranda of Understanding with the Kingdom of Morocco that were signed in 2024. These agreements focus on strengthening human capital development and promoting sustainable economic growth in line with our national development agenda. Madam Speaker, the government also took advantage of the high-level engagements at UNGA 80 to advance Zambia's digitalization agenda and investment prospects. Furthermore, Zambia continued to expand its diplomatic footprint by initiating new engagements with emerging partners across Asia, Latin America, and Eastern Europe. These efforts are aimed at broadening our global presence, diversifying partnerships, and enhancing Zambia's voice within the multilateral platforms. Madam Speaker, in order to translate these outcomes into national benefit, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, in collaboration with relevant line ministries, will implement a structured follow-up mechanism which will include activating bilateral agreements, coordinating with development partners and technical cooperation, and monitoring Zambia's climate and sustainable development goals commitments at national and international levels. In addition, Zambia will continue to champion reforms in multilateral institutions, regional reforms such as the African Union and SADC. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, in relation to our participation at UNGA 80, I wish to state that Zambia's active and strategic participation in the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly reaffirmed our global standing as a responsible member of the international community. We seized this opportunity to advance our developmental priorities, advocate for Africa's voice in global governance, promote investment, and build partnerships that will benefit our people. I wish to assure this House and the people of Zambia that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation remains committed to championing Zambia's interests on the global stage in alignment with our national development aspirations and foreign policy objectives. Madam Speaker, with regard to our participation at the 24th COMESA Summit, with your indulgence, I would want to quickly update the House on this matter. Madam Speaker, the summit, as I mentioned, took place in Nairobi, Kenya from the 8th to the 9th of October 2025 and was preceded by a ministerial meeting of the Ministers of Foreign Affairs. It was held under the theme Leveraging Digitalization to Deepen Regional Value Chains for Sustainable and Inclusive Growth. This theme underscores the region's shared vision of harnessing digital transformation to enhance trade integration, industrial competitiveness, and sustainable development for the benefit of our peoples. Madam Speaker, the 20th meeting of the COMESA Ministers of Foreign Affairs held on 8 October 2025 was chaired by the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs of Burundi. It brought together Ministers of Foreign Affairs and senior officials from all COMESA member states, including Zambia. Madam Speaker, the 24th Summit of the COMESA Authority of Heads of State and Government was held on 9 October 2025 and was chaired by His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, who succeeded his predecessor, that is, President Evariste Ndayishimiye of the Republic of Burundi. The summit was attended by several heads of state and government, vice presidents and ministers of foreign affairs, and other senior representatives from member states. His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, was represented by myself in accordance with established diplomatic practice. Madam Speaker, the outcomes of the 20th meeting of the COMESA Ministers of Foreign Affairs included a reviewed status report on peace and security covering development in Ethiopia, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and the Democratic Congo. Outputs. The meeting adopted a peace and security action plan for 2025 to 2028, which focused on early warning and preventative diplomacy, promoting women and youth participation in peace building, enhancing coordination between COMESA, the AU, and SADC, amongst other outcomes. Benefits for Zambia, Madam Speaker. For Zambia, the outcomes have three direct benefits. First, peace and security support. Second, capacity enhancement. Through the COM1 network, Zambia will benefit from capacity building for national focal points in data-driven conflict analysis and preventative diplomacy. and of course it had a benefit to our regional standing. Madam Speaker, in terms of the summit, the outcomes included the following. The heads of state and government considered both reports of the COMESA Council of Ministers and the authority and several key decisions on digital transformation, trade facilitation, infrastructure, and inclusive growth. The summit reaffirmed the commitment to implement the COMESA digital free trade area to facilitate seamless cross-border trade. The outputs included a harmonization of data protection and e-commerce laws, organizing the COMESA digital retail payment platform, and promotion of digital skills training for youth and women entrepreneurs. Zambia stands to gain significantly, Madam Speaker, from these decisions, notably through 1. Hosting the COMESA headquarters, 2. Digital trade facilitation. Zambia's SMEs will benefit from reduced transaction costs and improved market access through digital platforms. Infrastructure cooperation. The focus will be on regional transport corridors, which aligns with Zambia's North-South corridor initiatives, improving connectivity and logistics efficiency. And finally, in terms of private sector empowerment, Zambian enterprises, especially those led by youth and women, will gain access to regional markets through the 50 million African Women Speak platform and trade fairs supported under COMESA. Madam Speaker, the final report of the 24th meeting of the COMESA Ministers of Foreign Affairs, of the 20th meeting, of the COMESA Ministers of Foreign Affairs was adopted by consensus during the summit, demonstrating unity of purpose among member states, commitment to implementing agreed actions in peace, security, and economic integration. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, Zambia's active participation in both the ministerial and summit meetings of COMESA reaffirmed our unwavering commitment to peace, security, and regional integration in line with our Vision 2030 and African Continental Free Trade Area aspirations. Through these engagements, Zambia consolidated her role as a regional convener for digital transformation and peace building, while securing tangible benefits in infrastructure development, trade facilitation, and institutional hosting. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation will continue to work closely with relevant line ministries, COMESA institutions, and the private sector to ensure effective implementation of these outcomes for the benefit of our people and the broader region. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Before honorable members, I have an announcement to make, and this is I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery councillors from Katombola District Council, and these are as follows: Mr. John Simulinda, Sekute Ward. Mr. Obli Mwamvwa Ward. Mr. Moses Sianjide Kauwe Ward. Mr. Mavote Mitulu Mukuni Ward. Mr. Ray Nguva Ward. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I wish to warmly welcome our guests in our midst. You are most welcome. Thank you. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. The Honorable Member for Luena.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for those two very comprehensive statements of Zambia's engagement on the international stage. Honorable Minister, one of the characteristics or fundamental principles of brand Zambia is peacemaking. And Zambia's peacemaking efforts have in the past also been focused on the configuration of the United Nations Security Council. I would like to find out from you whether in our engagement at the UNGA, we as Zambia are in support of Africa's participation in terms of permanent membership of the Security Council, whether we are supporting a specific country, Africa, or alternative supporting a rotational arrangement, but with Africa having a permanent voice on the Security Council. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, the Honourable Minister of Affairs and International.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member of Luena for that wonderful and important question. Madam Speaker, as alluded to in my statement, Zambia is a member of the Committee of 10. This is a committee established by the African Union of 10 representative member states to put forward Africa's position with regard to UN Security Council reform. And the Common Africa position is what we are espousing as the Committee of 10. And I can confirm that during, at least on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, there were a number of engagements held, not only with the permanent 5 members of the UN Security Council, but also other key stakeholders in order to espouse the position of Africa under the Common Africa position. The Ezuluni Consensus and the CETA Declaration, which I mentioned, provide for Africa's position in that regard, which is that we are seeking 2 permanent seats on the Security Council with veto rights, that is the Common Africa position, plus 3 additional rotation seats. As to whom nations will take those permanent seats, that will make as a continent at the appropriate time once the objective of reform has been attained. So these are important conversations that are ongoing. I'd like to also mention, Madam Speaker, that for the benefit of the nation out there, that in fact the last meeting of the ministerial meeting of the C10 committee was hosted here in Lusaka, and the Lusaka declaration was made, which position was put forward at the UN, where the model we want to follow as Africa has been agreed in accordance with those declarations that I've mentioned. I thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Shuangando.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Minister, we acknowledge your statement and update. Madam Speaker, the UN General Assembly headquarters is domiciled in the New York City of the United States of America. At the time, Honorable Minister, you were, and your delegation were heading to represent us. The United States has just imposed strict measures which included our citizens being required to pay an upfront of refundable fees of $10,000 and 15, which is beyond reach for many Zambian citizens. I would like to know how those measures affected your delegation, and 2, if you didn't use that opportunity to be at UNGA to engage the authorities in order to deal with this challenge, which hasn't happened since we got into bilateral relations with the United States of America. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for Shiwangandu for that equally important. It was 2 parts. Is that it's one question per person, but nonetheless, Madam Speaker, the first part was whether or not the delegation was affected by the visa bond requirement that has been, the pilot visa bond requirement that is in place for travel to the United States. The delegation was not affected because it is not, the participants or the participation in UNGA is not amongst those categories that require a bond to be given. Nonetheless, I recall, Madam Speaker, that this issue has arisen on the floor of this House before, and we did state at a particular time that it is of grave concern to the government of the Republic of Zambia that this pilot project has been imposed on Zambia and neighboring Malawi as part of the sovereign decision of the US government in the current administration. In response to the second question by the Honorable Member for Shiwangando, I can confirm that the opportunity of being in the United States was used to the maximum to address both the positives and negatives of our relationship with the United States of America. So I did personally hold meetings with counterparts from the United States government, from the Secretary of State's office, both in Washington and in New York. When we make these trips, use the opportunity to put in the full ticket of work so that the people of Zambia can benefit. So we continue to have those discussions, both when we can have face-to-face in the United States, here in Zambia, and of course using diplomatic channels. It is our belief that this matter will be addressed fully and finally in the shortest possible time. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nkana.
Honorable Minister, UNGA is a very high-level summit for heads of state or their deputies, at which gathering heads of states engage in issues affecting their countries. Therefore means you can see the value a country attaches by the delegation they send. Our president was in the country, the vice president was here. I remember the president left immediately after UNGA to go to the UK. We know from the setup of UNGA, Honorable Minister, that when you send a minister, he'll be given a chance to make a presentation right at the far end when every head of state has left. Is it a testimony that your government does not value this level or this table of engagement, that if the president is not available, at least you could send the vice president? Is this how you as UPND looks at the UNGA to be not that important? I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the Honorable Member of Fonkana for that question, which unfortunately does not appear to understand and appreciate the complexities of international relations and how international relations are undertaken. Madam Speaker, there was a sweeping statement at the beginning of the question to the effect that at UNGA, the states will send either the heads of states or their deputies. That can further be from the truth, and that needs to be debunked, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Member of Parliament needs not to take an opportunity like this to set out a misleading statement to the people of Zambia. First and foremost, Madam Speaker, the high-level segment at UNGA, which I think the Honourable Member is talking about, has got several technical meetings that require the presence of ministers that are responsible for each of those technical areas. For instance, in this particular UNGA, we had a lot of business in relation to the health sector. This is why you saw the Honourable Minister of Health as being a key member of the delegation. Other engagements related to the diplomatic space. The Honourable Member might want to know that currently there is a lot going on in terms of shall I say, multilateral space. And the discourse that is taking place is in relation to how the persons responsible for managing the multilateral space predominantly the ministers of foreign affairs, can engage each other in order to protect and save multilateralism. So it's not as simple as just the matter of the national statement that is given during the general debate. That is only a statement which is recorded, by the way. And we must remember that the principle of the United Nations that states are equal. So it doesn't necessarily mean that when one gives a statement as a head of state versus a delegated, other than their statement becomes relegated and is not considered important. That is not how it works. We are equal at the United Nations as nations, and when one delegates, the person who speaks as a delegate speaks for the nation as a whole, regardless of the line in the queue where they are speaking. Madam Speaker, I gave the statistics deliberately in regard to representation at UNGA. We had 189 states, of which 83 were represented by heads of state, 41 by heads of government, and 45 by ministers of foreign affairs. That should give you a clear picture. That is the norm.
As the time is 10:40, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
We are tuned in to Parliament Television. Business will resume at 11 hours, and on the floor of the House was the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Honorable Haimbe, responding to a question that has been posed to him by Nkana Member of Parliament, Mr. Bilo Mpundu. This is in line with the ministerial statement that the minister did deliver earlier on Zambia's participation at the 80th United Nations General Assembly, that's UNGA 80, held in New York, USA, from the 2nd to the 29th of September 2025. And so members of Parliament are asking the minister follow-up questions.
Business did commence at 09 hours, and the Madam Speaker made 2 announcements. And I also had honor the Vice President's question time, a segment of 45 minutes. We do expect a consideration of 2 questions under Standing Order 80.
All right, and so just about now we take a break. Business continues after 11 hours. Stay tuned.